When you change the way you think about people, they change in front of you. Even some of the most adamant, persistent character traits in a person begin to change externally based on how you believe them to be internally within you. If you can picture in your mind's eye a person to be that way, they will show up and transform in that way, absolutely to the extent that you have self-persuaded in your mind that they are that way. What's going on? This is Sunny, and in today's video I want to give you a very important relationship tip that you must know before entering any relationship. But it's not even just going to help you with your romantic relationships, it's going to help you, relationships with your family, friends, and colleagues. This is something that I learned from Neville Goddard that I've experienced work in my life, and I've been practicing it and seeing great results from it. We're going to be talking about how when you start to change the way that you think about someone, when you change the way that you are imagining someone to be within, they start to change the way that they show up in your reality. And the way that they show up and act in your reality starts to be more aligned with the vision that you have for this person of how they are, of who they are. Okay, so it's not so much about changing people through your mind, right? That's not necessarily the purpose of this, but it's about exploring the connection between your imagination and how a particular person behaves in your reality. So again, it's not about changing people or forcing your will upon someone, just exploring this connection and this correlation about how you think of them and how they start to act and behave with you. Here's where you have to question the belief that are we all really separate minds, separate individual minds, or are we all just one mind, one universal mind of which we are all different aspects? Okay? And for the purpose of this video, I'm not going to be discussing the mechanics behind this because that would waste a lot of time and we would still probably never get anywhere. It's almost like trying to count the leaves on a tree or trying to measure the ocean. Yes, you may get somewhere, but eventually it's not going to satisfy you and it's not going to help you get in the result that you really want. Neville himself said that you don't necessarily have to know the mechanics behind all of these natural laws to have them work for you. You don't necessarily know exactly how a little seed turns into a big tree, or you don't know exactly what's going on under the hood of a car and how a car is moving in order to drive a car successfully. So work with these principles, but don't, lose your mind trying to figure out how they're actually coming about, because that is coming about from an intelligence that is far greater than our intellect. And I personally believe that through our intellect, we'll never understand how these things work. However, as we meditate and as we grow in awareness, this understanding starts to dawn on our mind and we start to just feel that connection. And this is what happened to me in my spiritual journey. The concepts I understand today are concepts I never could have understood before, no matter how hard I tried to figure those out. So let me just read that quote to you by Neville one more time. If you can picture in your mind's eye a person to be that way, they will show up and transform in that way, absolutely to the extent that you have self-persuaded in your mind that they are that way. Okay, so he's basically saying that the way you think about people and the way you imagine them to be changes how they are in your reality and how they show up. And you can cause this change in their character and even their adamant character traits. Certain ways that everybody knows them to be. You can start to influence them in a positive way where they start to behave in a way that you'd like more from them. Okay, for this though, I would recommend to you to not just be fully selfish and try to change the person in a way that you want them to act. Okay, but rather also thinking of a person in a way where, yes, it may be beneficial for you if they were to act in that kind of loving and positive way towards you, but also in a way that would be more beneficial to them. I personally believe that to make this principle really work for you, you have to go deeper than the surface thoughts that you have about a person. Okay, so it's not like I want this person to be really nice to me and really show me a lot of love. And those are the thoughts that you're thinking on the surface. But deep down, you're truly believing and imagining this person to be a person who doesn't really care for you and a person who could really care less. and a person who's really like nonchalant in your reality. They don't really give you a lot of attention, right? So if that's your true image of that person deep within, and that's how you imagine this person to be, but on the surface you're like, oh, this person is really loving, and I'm trying this new Neville technique out, this person is really loving and nice to me, that's not going to work. What you have to start doing is confronting your actual mental conversations that you naturally just have about this person, right? So as you go about your day, and this could be a person that's like, let's just say you're in a new relationship and you're dating this new person now. How do you think about this person when you are not necessarily monitoring your thoughts? So this is what you have to become conscious of, because those are the thoughts that hint to you what you truly believe about this person deep down within you. What are you expecting your relationship with this person to turn into, right? How do you believe their true nature is? Not just on the surface, deep within, right? Because with this principle, if you truly deep down within believe this person to be careless and not loving, right? Then that is how they will start to behave in your reality. And in order to change that part of them, not for just your own selfish purposes, but also to benefit them in a way, you have to start to go deep within, confront those ideas that you have about this person, and just release them. Just let go of your attachment to those beliefs that you have about this person, and start to imagine a different version of them. Neville always states that the human imagination is God. What you are imagining on a daily basis, the mental conversations that you're having, the thoughts that you're constantly thinking, are what is reflecting out into your physical reality. This is what is comprising your physical reality. So parts of your imagination are the thoughts that you have about this particular person that you're in a relationship with, and how you're imagining them to be effortlessly, without conscious effort. You're constantly believing this person to be a certain way, right? Now you have to start to imagine and really connect deeply to the version of them, of the way that you would like them to be, and you want them to be showing up in your reality. So if you want them to be more trustworthy, if you want them to be more loving, more caring, start to imagine them to be that way. But you have to self-persuade yourself that they are that way. That's where it gets a little tricky. It's tricky because how many times have you been in a relationship, or even with your friends and family, and you notice behaviors that you don't really enjoy from them? Maybe like they treat you poorly, or they get like angry all the time, or whatever, right? And you start to focus on those qualities primarily. And that's what your belief about that person becomes, that this person is this way. And so you start to constantly focus on their negative qualities. And maybe you haven't noticed this before. Be more conscious about it going forward. The more you focus on the negative qualities about a particular person, the more you start to experience those negative qualities in your reality from this person. So the very things that you want a person to stop doing are the very things that person just starts doing more of naturally. This is why whenever you are, communicating with your partner or anybody in your life, you should never focus on, oh, I want you to stop doing this. I want you to stop doing that. Because the mere focus on that particular behavior that you are trying to avoid is what gives it attention, is what gives it life force, is what gives it life. And that person naturally starts to do more of that. So the personal coaching work that I do with my clients, some of them are, people who own their own businesses. They're entrepreneurs who have employees that work under them. And so I constantly advise them, if your employees are not acting the way that you want them to act in your life, and they're not showing up to your business the way you'd like them to be showing up, when you have your little personal meetings with those employees, don't ever direct them in a way where it's like, you need to stop doing this. You're not meeting your expectations. You're not acting the way or you're not working to the potential that I would like you to work in, right? Instead, focus on what you want them to do. Communicate clearly to them how you want them to change, what you are expecting of them, right? Because that sort of focus will align them to a version of themselves that is also in alignment with how you want them to act in your life. Same goes with any relationship in life. You have to focus more on the qualities of a person that you do like. And you have to start to deep down imagine a version of that person that embodies the qualities that you do want. And again, I'm not asking you to take my word for this principle. Simply try this principle out in your life and you will start to see. You will start to make that connection that how you are thinking about people is how they are showing up in your life. This has been true for all my current relationships. I constantly am staying conscious of this principle and you see it work like magic. And so now I want to share with you 3 steps that you can implement this principle with and start to experience it in your reality. But again, I'm going to mention that this is not about manipulating other people and trying to make them act in a way that is only beneficial to you. Actually have the better interest of that person at heart. Wish good qualities upon them. So we'll discuss those in the 3 steps. So step 1 is get clear about why you even want that person to change in the first place, right? Are you coming from insecurity? Because that's not the energy that will serve you. Oftentimes we want other people to change in our lives because we're constantly blaming them for, what we don't like. We're constantly believing them to be a person that, oh no, they should act this way, whereas I'm perfect. Because the ego gets a lot of satisfaction from that. So see, again, this technique is not about coming from insecurity and coming from wanting to control and change other people. You have to ask yourself first, why do I even want to change this person? Why do I want to change their qualities, whereas thinking I'm perfect? Right? So start to think about your own qualities. Start to try to change your own qualities in a better way. That obviously will invite better qualities from other people in your life. Now, number 2, make it about them. Take yourself out of the equation and just imagine them being happy with or without you. Imagine them loving life with or without you. Imagine them being a way that isn't only beneficial for you, but also for them. So yes, you may, want this person to be super generous to you. You may want this person to be super loving to you. But for the purpose of this and to actually make this more effective, stop making it about you. Take yourself out of the equation and simply think about what would really benefit this person. If this person is acting in a really rude manner and always thinking negative thoughts, yes, that's not good for you in your life, but it's also not good for them. So how could you imagine them changing in a way that's also beneficial for their life, regardless of if you are in their life or not? Okay, so my technique, right, for this, for implementing this principle is to imagine people in my life being happy with or without me. So try this especially for your relationship, right? The person you're dating. Imagine them doing what they love most. Imagine them just being so happy with life and take yourself out of the equation. Stop putting yourself in their visualization. Just imagine them being happy and imagine them embodying the character traits that, yes, you would like them to embody, but just imagine them loving life and being fulfilled. This automatically creates that subconscious connection, in which they will feel this warm embrace towards you. Now, on top of this, you can start to imagine certain qualities about them that you would like to cultivate, right? And you can start believing them to be, this person is amazing. This person treats me really well. This person helps me become a better person, and start imagining the person to be that way. And they will start to show up in that way in your life. Even if it's just for the time that they are with you, you will start to experience that side of a person way more rather than their other side. And the side of the person that you don't wish to see, let that go. Start to love that as well. Because the more you try to avoid that side of the person and start to focus on the side of the person that you want to avoid, they will also start to behave more in that way. You will start to experience that side of the person more and more. So again, don't focus on what you want to avoid. Focus only on what you want to cultivate in that person. Now, lastly, number 3, here's a little trick that you can do to constantly keep your thoughts about the person in a positive way. So if you have this person's contact, right, like I'm sure you do, in your phone, next to their name, put an emoji that you want your relationship to kind of signify, or like write their name in a way which kind of symbolizes your relationship to them. So how many times, like people who don't like one of their friends or something, they put their name in their phone like in a kind of a way where they're making fun of them, or they're, it's like annoying George or something like that. Obviously not a lot of people do this, but some people do. So don't put their name in your phone like a problematic name. You can put their name like, okay, John, my best friend. And that's how they will start to be more of, because that's how you start to think of them naturally. Or you could put an emoji next to their name, which is like a heart, or like a rose, or the sun, or whatever it is. Something that symbolizes to you good feelings, positive nature of relationship, because that will always help you, because every time they text you or call you, you'll see that. And that's just how that's how your relationship starts to turn into. So try those 3 steps out. I'm really interested in seeing how it goes for you. Trust me, this stuff works. Do it with belief that it will work. Again, though, you're not simply trying to change and manipulate a person, but instead you're focusing on their better qualities. You're focusing on the qualities that you would like to cultivate in them that will not benefit just you, but also them. Now, obviously, relationships are just one aspect of our reality that we want to create harmoniously, right? But if you want to start mastering yourself and all the other parts of your reality, like money, career, and health, then I'm giving away a free workshop right now. It's called the Create Your Dream Life Workshop, in which I'm teaching you how to create the life that you truly want to live through a higher consciousness mindset. It is completely free right now, just for a limited time. The link is in the description box below. Make sure to go check that out. Other than that, give me a thumbs up. And if you want more Neville videos, also let me know in the comment section below, all right? Subscribe to this channel for more videos like this, and I will see you in the next video.